All right, today we're going to be solving equations. Should be old hat for you guys, but just a few reminders on how to do them. And really, this video is mainly just examples of each type you're going to see. So I'm going to write them down so tomorrow you have something to look at as we start working the problems together. A few rules. First of all, the addition, subtraction, or the addition principle just says you can add anything you want to as long as you add it to both sides of an equation. Whatever you add to one side, you got to add to the other. Same thing is true with multiplication. Whatever you multiply, you can multiply with one side by anything you want to as long as you do the other side also. Those two things are also true for subtraction and division. They just include subtraction with the addition because you can, and they include the division with the multiplication because division is really multiplying by reciprocal. Principle of zero products, if we can get something that looks like this, if we can get two factors that says a times b is 0, that means one of three things is true. That means either a is 0 or b is 0, or they're both 0. So don't forget that one in a minute. And the other thing, the principle of square roots. If we have a quadratic, if we have an x squared in an equation and need to get it down to just what x equals, we're going to take the square to both sides. But when you do that in an equation, we're going to use the plus or minus symbol. That's why if you look at here, their answers, they put a positive square root of k and a negative square root of k. We're going to put a plus or minus sign. Okay, here we go. First one. And you know the rules, so I'm just going to follow the rules and go with it. I'm going to simplify each side first as far as I can. So I'm going to take this side right here and work through the distributive property with the 6, make it minus 6x. Negative 6 times negative 1 is a positive 6. Still work on simplifying that right side. I can combine the 1 and the 6 and make it 7. Then I'm going to combine the x's, so I'm going to take the 6x, cross equal sign. When I do that, it becomes positive 6x, which gives me 8x plus 3 is 7. Move the 3 over there. I'm trying to isolate the x, obviously. Subtract 3, that's a 3. There we go. 7 minus 3 is 4. In the very last step, got to get rid of the 8. It says 8 times x. So you divide both sides by 8. You get 4/8, which is really 1/2. And obviously a good thing to do when you get that answer. I'm not going to take the time on the video to do it, but take the 1/2 and plug it right there. Also plug it right there. Work out both sides. So you get the same result. All right, this one's a quadratic. Whenever you have a quadratic and you have also an x with it, like you have an x squared term and an x term, you need to probably try to factor. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the 4 to the other side, make it a minus 4, and then using the methods we talked about the other day, I'm going to factor that. So I'm trying to think of factors of 4 that will give me a negative 3, and it's a negative 4, so I'm going to make it x minus 4 and x plus 1. And the property we looked at a second ago said anytime you have two factors that are multiplied together and they equal 0, that means either one of them has to equal 0 or both equal 0. So all I'm going to think about here is what would make this parentheses equal 0 and what will make that parentheses equal 0. And the answer, of course, is 4 for the first one and negative 1 for the second one. And to check that one real quick, you can plug 4 in here and here, work out that side, and you should get 4. You can also plug negative 1 in there and there, work it out, and you should get 4. You can check it really quick. The last couple of problems are going to give you formulas and have you solve for just one of the variables in the formula. This is the perimeter of a rectangle formula. Maybe you remember that from geometry. We're going to try to solve for L, which means I'm going to try to get this L right here isolated by itself. So the first step, I'm going to move the 2w to the other side. Make it p minus 2w is 2L. And all that leaves me with is just the 2 with the L. And because it says 2 times L, I'm going to do the inverse of that and divide both sides by 2. And I end up with p minus 2w over 2. And what that tells me is if I ever need the length of a rectangle and I know the perimeter and the width, I can do that right there. Here's what the length equals. The perimeter minus 2 times the width, all divided by 2. And I can find the length anytime I wanted to. All right, last one. This is the formula for area of a trapezoid. And if you remember from geometry, trapezoid has 2 bases. That's what the B1 and B2 are. They want us to solve for B1. So somehow I've got to get this isolated by itself. A couple ways you can go here. I do not like to work with fractions, that 1/2 right there. So I'm going to go ahead the very first step and whoops, I didn't move it. And multiply both sides by 2. And what happens is, I don't know why that keeps doing that. It cancels the 1/2 there. It gives me 2a on this side. And over here I just have h times b1 plus b2. And now you really have two options. You could go ahead if you want to, because it's h times b1 plus b2, you could go ahead and divide by h. I think I'm going to go ahead and distribute the h though, and go b1h plus b2h, or of course you could put h first if you want to. And remember, I'm trying to isolate this b1, that base 1. So to do that, I'm going to move this term over first, make it 2a minus b2h, which equals b1h. And one more step, I almost have the b1 isolated. One more step and I've got it. The h has got to go. So I'm going to do one more step. I'm going to divide both sides by h. And once I do that, that's it already. I'm going to rewrite it, make it look a little bit better. b1 is 2a minus base 2 times h all over h. And one thing you need to know for sure is you're not allowed to cancel those h's right there, because the first term doesn't have an h. If that term had an h, I would cancel all of them, but you got to be able to cancel all or nothing right there, so can't cancel those h's. Hope that was a good review for you. I hope you wrote them down so that tomorrow when you come in, you can have something to look at as we go through those problems. These are great examples of what you're going to see, really kind of one of each thing. And that's it for today. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.